Okay, I just need to share that the stream is live with people. So just bear with me here for a second. Okay, so we're just gonna let it sit for a little bit, see who makes it. I will start talking at 10:35 or so. Once you appear, please say hi in the chat. Oh, I see some people starting to appear. So if you are here, can you please let me know if you can hear me? Can you guys let me know if you can hear me, please? All right. Very good. For those of you who are using personal accounts, can you please just let me know what your name is in the chat? Abby Malcolm, nice to see you. I didn't see you yesterday. So I see Spoops. So I need to know who that is. How's it going, Arwen? I like the name. All right. Please make sure you say hello. Let me know how this is going or how things are going there. I'm going to start going through the materials somewhere around 10:35. The good thing about this is that it is going to record automatically and turn this into a YouTube video that you can click on the link and view at any time. So even if we don't have a full slate by the time I start talking, people are able to go back and take a look. All right, so it says that I have 5 viewers. One is myself, because it always counts me as 1. Bernsey is 2. Arwen is 3. Abby is 4, but it says there are 5 people. So who's the mysterious 5th person watching who is not saying hello in the chat? Oh, now it's 6 people. If you've just joined the stream, please say hello in the chat. All right. Everybody else doesn't want to talk, apparently. Okay, so just a couple more minutes to let people an opportunity to find the stream and join in if they wish to live. Otherwise, it's going to be saved and allowed people to watch later when they wake up, finish their coffee, and so on. This is my second I'm on right now. Good morning, Hannah. You've got that natural energy, Mr. Burns. All right, one more minute and then we'll get going on, and we're going to go through an example of a finished ISU, at least the first bits of it, so that you can get a sense of what this output is supposed to look like. And then we're also going to just reiterate what exactly the expectations are for today and tomorrow. There will be a live stream again tomorrow morning, as well as there will be a Google Meet this afternoon at 1:30. So just give me one moment. I see a child. All right. So it is 10:35. So I'm guessing those of us who wanted to be here are here for the live portion. Please feel free to pass on to your classmates that this live stream is here and it is a space to come and sort of get the day started in the right way. Starting right at 8:15 doesn't seem viable or realistic for myself, taking care of my own kids, getting them through virtual school in the morning, as well as the reality is that I'm assuming that most teenagers probably don't have the best sleeping schedule right now. So this way, we get the most bang for our buck. Everybody gets live access to myself if that's what they wish. Otherwise, I'm hoping that everybody is ready to work on whatever it is that they've prioritized today. So while I am looking through and scrolling through the ISU, I will not be able to see the chat. So please be patient, but do post questions in there as you have them, and I will do my best to answer them. Okay. All right. So flipping over to the actual ISU, I'm now looking at it. You probably hopefully can still see my face and all that. The ISU, which is this research study that we're doing around First Nations people, is a way to reframe how to prioritize what people mean to society and what contributions of one individual can mean for others. And so rather than just focusing on accomplishments and awards and things like that, instead, we're thinking about what it means to put out the traits into the world that we wish existed more. I mean, we obviously live in a time period where there's unrest and there's a reconciliation around the racist history of not only our own country, but, movements like the Black Lives Matter movement in the United States, where people are starting to reconcile the idea that the history of our nation means different things to different people. And so therefore we need to focus less on the five W's around of what and where and when, and more importantly think about the how and the why, and why those things can mean different things to different people, right? Thinking of Sir John A. Macdonald, for example, in our country as our first prime minister, that person means something very different depending on who you are in this country. If you're somebody who's recently, immigrated to our country, Sir John A. Macdonald is probably not going to mean a whole lot. If you're somebody who, like myself, comes from a family that has been in partially, at least one sprig of my tree has been in North America for a number of centuries, Sir John A. Macdonald was seen as this sort of heroic figure who carved our country and created it. But as I've grown older and learned more, you realize that that country is built upon um, criminal activity in many aspects, in terms of stealing, violating treaties, death in some instances, um, and of course the residential school policy, which we've talked about. And so to take an ISU and to do research about First Nations people, and instead of focusing just on accomplishments, but thinking about what they've done and how that puts out good things into the world, it hopefully will change your lens to think about what it means historically to think about people in our country and what they've done and what they've contributed and what they've put out there. Because I'm trying as an individual to put out positive things and to put out genuineness into the world and to treat people as human beings first. And so I'm hoping that this will hopefully make you rethink about how you might approach other critical thinking exercises in your life. So this particular ISU is the same ISU that you're doing. It came from Miss Newton's class in a previous semester. Um, they had the same guidelines as you. They had the same handouts as you. And I wanted to go through part one, part two, and part three, the proposal, the annotated bibliography, and a little bit of the essay, just to let you guys have a sense of exactly what the expectations are. So this would be a high level 3, a low level 4 kind of achievement in terms of what the output is. And I just want to read through it and take a look at it together. Now, most of you have done step one already, and I've already sort of given it the thumbs up. Because of the condensed nature um, of the quadmester, I wasn't so picky about it being the right length and all that. I was more about, like, what's your person? What are the traits? So in this particular instance, it says, for my ISU, I selected Robbie Robertson. I'm going to zoom in a little bit here if I can. I don't know. I don't know if it's going to take. Hopefully you guys can see it too. So for my ISU, I selected Robbie Robertson as my individual to talk about. The reason I selected this individual is because I enjoy music and I figured it would be something interesting for me to research, as well as I enjoy his band's music. The top 3 traits I believe he embodies are courage, wisdom, and truth. So those are 3 of the 7 grandfather teachings. So that was what the ask was, 3 traits. I believe he shows courage because, as we all know, it takes a lot of that to be a musician. You face many obstacles, and he did, specifically growing up as an Indigenous Canadian, so he has had to face many obstacles both professionally and personally. As you can see, the language is not perfect in here. It is a bit, it needs a bit of refinement, but I understand the message it got across. I also believe he exemplifies wisdom because to be a songwriter, you have to have wisdom to write songs in the way he did. The final trait I believe he shows is truth because many of his songs have a truth to them. That is what makes a great song, is the truth and emotion, and as a songwriter, you have to have lots of that. So how lucky it is that, Mr. Burns is here listening in on this when we're talking about musicians and the positiveness they put out into the world, right? And so this person in their proposal has already basically outlined what their essay is going to look like. You have a thesis. Robbie Robertson puts these 3 traits out into the world. And then each one of your body paragraphs of your 5-paragraph essay is going to be arguing. The first one is going to be talking about courage. The second one is going to be talking about wisdom. And the third is going to be talking about truth. And then there'll be a short conclusion. Okay? So just double checking to see if anybody posted anything yet. Okay, nothing yet. Okay, so that is uh, that first one. So let me see if I click on my next piece here, if it just will automatically go there. Just give me 1 second. Okay, what do you still see? You still see ISU step one. Okay, bear with me for 1 second here. I'm just going to close this, and I can see my cool background. Oh, there we go. Okay, so now it's got the bibliography up there. Okay. All right. So this is this person's annotated bibliography. I'm sharing this only because it has the write-up that's well done, but the actual sourcing portion, like the one where it has just the links here, that is actually not correct. In terms of doing the actual citation, you need to do it through MLA formatting, which is in the guideline that's in there. So this person cut a corner and gave up marks by just posting the link as to where to find it. Okay? It is more detailed than that to do it properly. Again, we're trying to bring you up to a level of what the expectation will be in a college program. So please check the MLA guide and please send me a rough draft so that I can catch this and tell you, no, you need to go into greater detail around the sourcing. Okay? So this one would have not been able to achieve, this portion of the ICU would not have been able to achieve a level 4 because it doesn't have the citations done properly. Just this part where the link is. Okay? So for the annotated bibliography, the idea is that you are listing out your 5 sources that you have found on this particular person that you're studying, and you are then explaining how this source is useful to your research around the 5 traits. So the first one, he found an article from The Guardian about Robbie Robertson. Okay, so it says, I'm going to use this source as I just looked up something for background info and this showed up. It gives a good idea on him, but also the band's background. It gave me some insight because I didn't realize drug use was this rampant, and that particular band, especially heroin. As it states, though, Robbie was not a heroin addict, although he did try it among his own fair share of drugs. Okay, so source number one, real simple, just an explanation as to what you are finding in that source. It's almost like a little summary. Okay. Second source, as you can see from Rolling Stone, this source is helpful because it dives into how Robbie's indigenous background helped him as a musician and also how it helped him to write songs and form projects. It also shows that the native people that he would visit inspired him to play guitar and how they enjoyed his music. Okay, so this is all the annotated bibliography is asking you to do, is to pick your 5 sources. Best place to start is to go to Wikipedia and go down to the bottom and find the links at the bottom of Wikipedia. Wikipedia itself is not a source that should be cited, just like the encyclopedia should not be cited. But if you do some critical thinking about the quality of the links at the bottom of a Wikipedia page, you can find lots of sources about whatever it is that you need to find. Okay? So a short write-up for each source, and that is your annotated bibliography. Okay, you need to do 5. I didn't share every single page of that just because it kind of repeats itself over and over and over again, but hopefully that gives you a sense of what we are talking about. Okay, so let me just close this. Okay, hold on. There we go. Okay, so before I go on, are there any questions about annotated bibliographies? Okay, so the annotated bibliography is due as soon as possible. Please, please, please get it in as soon as you can, because really it should have been cleaned up as early as the right before the holiday break, but really, as soon as we got back is when we should be moving past it. So please prioritize that. It should be prioritized over the novel study. Okay, so find your 5 sources. So the MLA format on on the Google Classroom, it is there's a file attached to the ISU assignment where it basically just says MLA formatting. I will go into the classroom and I will detail exactly where to find it once I've gone through the ISU. Okay, just so you can see it clear as day. All right. So what I have up in front of you here is the actual essay itself. Okay. So I know it says step 4, that it has been renumbered. Okay. So in reality, proposal is step 1, annotated bibliography is step 2, essay is step 3, PowerPoint is step 4. That's how it plays out if you're in the college pathway. Okay. So Robbie Robertson is a Canadian singer-songwriter guitarist who first and most famously gained notoriety with the Canadian-American rock band The Band, and later had a successful solo career. The 3 traits I have chosen that I think best exemplify Robbie Robertson are courage, wisdom, and truth. So it's got a nice clear thesis at the beginning. It has a little introduction. I probably, if I had gotten this person's essay earlier, I would have asked for more of an explanation, kind of more like the proposal itself, gone into a bit more detail in the introduction, but that at least will get you rolling if you put that much down as your introduction. It needs a bit more meat on the bone, so to speak, to really be a good introduction, but that's a good start, okay? The first trait that Robbie Robertson exemplifies is courage, and I think it is best demonstrated by looking at his music career and how successful he and his career are. To become that successful takes a lot of courage and perseverance, because worldwide acclaim and success does not come easily. It takes dedication and courage to overcome many obstacles that come your way as an aspiring musician, and definitely as an aspiring Indigenous musician in the 1960s. He had also dealt with the issue of losing his creativity because of the band getting so big. Fans expected a certain sound or result from them, and this left him feeling unfulfilled and wanting to break it up and go solo with his own ideas. And as you can see in brackets there, it says Goldberg, right? So this would have been an idea that was pulled from one of the articles that this author read. Okay? So when you're sending me a rough draft, that is the kind of thing that I'm going to ask you about. Where are your citations? Where are you pulling your ideas from? The result of all of this has left a lasting impact on not only the Indigenous community, but on Canada as a whole, because I think any Canadian can agree it is something we are very proud of, that when one of our own breaks into the mainstream, and it is up there with the greats from the USA and other countries. Okay, so that's a fine, suitable first point. Second point, the second trait exemplified by Robbie Robertson is wisdom. From my own experience as a guitar player and from research and different things I've seen, it takes a large amount of creativity, but also a lot of wisdom gained through experience in life in general to truly put your heart and soul into songwriting. And as I said before, he was in The Band, and some critics from articles and videos I've seen consider their music to be some of the most influential music of all time. And I've even seen them compared to the Beatles as far as their influence goes. Roger Waters of Pink Floyd called their debut album, music from Big Pink, the quote, second most influential album in the history of rock and roll. Now, they cited Wikipedia. I would not have told you that it was okay to cite Wikipedia. I would ask you to go deeper and to find the source that Wikipedia used. Just a little point of contention there. I believe Robbie's wisdom has left a lasting impact on lots of people, but especially songwriters, considering many bands such as Cream and Counting Crows cite them as their influence. And again, there's another citation. Oddly enough, Robertson also had a considerable impact on 90s country because the structure of his songwriting was used in a lot of 90s country. And there's another citation. Overall, the wisdom he gained and used has left a considerable impact on many people. Third point. The third and final trait Robbie Robertson best exemplifies is truth. Again, being a musician who specifically loves The Band, I automatically am drawn to their music, especially the song The Weight. I feel as if you want to know why I think he best exemplifies truth, all you need to do is listen to this song. Every verse talks about a personal experience he has had with an individual, and you feel like you can relate to it in your own way. For example, the chorus of the song The Wait says, "Take a load off Annie, take a load for free." I read on Spotify that the name he mentions, Annie, was a woman he had gotten pregnant years before, but she lost the baby, therefore he is literally telling her to take a load off emotionally. Another way he exemplifies this to me is how this song evokes a feeling of emotion, a feeling or emotion that is hard to explain. And to me, if you can get the listener to feel emotional, whether it be sad or happy, etc., that's how you know it's truly a good song. The truth behind what it is is what causes that. Robbie's impact in this way has definitely left his mark on me generally, but, and unfortunately I don't think I have the last page. I do not. You get the idea. So, overall, um, this is what this essay is asking you to do. It's asking you to reframe your argumentative paragraphs less about biographical information and more about what that biographical information does to express those traits into society. So, if you can think about what it means to be uh, a wise person, putting truth out into the world, spreading love into the world, and so on. And you can argue using this person's accomplishments, actions, words, lyrics, etc., then your essay will meet the criteria as it has been outlined. But the most important thing is that you understand that you are not alone in doing this. You need to be willing to send me a rough draft, to send me even just a part of it. Send me the first argument, like around the first trait, and say, does this make sense? Does this fit as an essay? And I will mark it up, and we will work out all the kinks so that you can submit a glorious final project in the end. Okay? So please, please, please prioritize that. Okay, let me just quickly change my window capture here. Just give me 1 second. Just need to delete. Da, 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 da. Okay, window capture, window capture. Okay, it's gonna get a little meta here for a second, sorry. I'll move myself up here, stretch this down like this, and then move myself up, ta-da. Okay, so if we go into the Google Classroom, and I'm just double checking, just give me 1 second here. Ben or Holly? Sorry, I hear my kids arguing. All right, just give me 1 second. I'm gonna go tell my kids to calm it down for a second here. Just give me 1 second. Ooh. Ah, the joys of parenting. Okay, so if you take a look in the classroom, which hopefully you can see here, okay, in the ISU Material 7 Grandfather Traits essay, okay, you have the assignment, you have the sample annotated bibliography with the correct citation style, and you have your MLA guide, okay? So if I click on the annotated bibliography first, let me just make sure that's coming up okay, yep. Okay, let's close that, okay. As you can see, rather than just having the link, you have all of this detailed information first. So Boutsalis Kelly, the name of the article, where the magazine, who printed it, what date it came out, and so on, as well as a link to the article. That is the actual full citation that you need to have in order to get full marks. Okay? Just the link will not get you the full marks. Okay? Same with this one. Same with this one. Same with this one. Okay? It has detailed information above and beyond what is just the the link as to where to find it. Okay? That is what college instructors will ask of you. So that is what I am asking of you. Okay. And for the MLA guide, this is the MLA guide that's there. It even outlines, right? So it has last name, first name, title of book or magazine, city of publication, publisher, publication date, and so on. Okay? So if you're looking for further details, there's a link right there as well. Okay? So before I move on to just briefly talking about the novel study, is there any questions about the ISU in general? All right, I see nobody typing, so that tells me that I'm just going to quickly go into the novel study and just make sure that you guys understand what the expectations are for that. Okay, so as you can see in the stream of classwork here on the Google Classroom, we have yesterday's work, we have today's work, right? So the ISU stuff is very similar. There's a Dropbox here for your annotated bibliography if you so wish to put it there. You can also send it to me on an NBE message. For Marrow Thieves, you have read pages 140 to 170. It says, please remember that pages 1 to 100 were due before Christmas. So if you need to catch up, now is the time. Please submit questions parts 1 and 2 as soon as possible. Okay. The chapter questions are right here, but maybe I'll move them down. Okay. So chapter questions. Okay. The expectation is that you are doing half of these. So please pick whatever out of the number that is there. So in part 1, there's 19. So if you do 9 or 10, that would be perfectly fine. Send them to me in a Google Doc, send them to me in an attached document file. However you get them to me is fine. Okay. Just please send those in. Okay. Part 2, we can, same sort of idea, except there's less questions, only 16, so you only need to do 8 of them. So doing a question like, look up what a smudge or smudging in is First Nations culture, briefly describe it below. That would be as quickly as looking it up and and copying and pasting an article to me, or just proving to me where you found it. That would be a very easy one to do. Okay. Um, question number 12, who did Webb see in the woods in the previous week? That's one sentence. Okay. So these are not meant to be much more than just prove to me you're reading the book, show to me that you have some comprehension of what's going on, and expand it as you can. Okay. So, um, so then for part 3, you have up to question 13, so you only have to do 6 or 7. Okay. And so on. So please continue to submit those as you go. If I switch back to the Google Classroom, okay, on the 13th, it's the same. So tomorrow, it's exactly the same as today in terms of your expectations. On the 14th, there's a couple of added things. And then on the 15th, there's a couple of added things. Okay. So 25th, which is the last week that we're together, hopefully we're back in class in person. Is when we're going to finish up the Marrow Thieves. There'll be a short little culminating task for that. The ISU is all due by Thursday, and we'll see how it all goes to see what else plays out from there. Okay? So, is there any questions about any of this? Novel study or ISU? That's what I need to know before you guys set off there. If you haven't confirmed what your ISU topic is yet with me, please send it to me in an NBE message today. Abby, if you're still here, I need to hear from you today on NBE, please, just to let me know exactly what it is that you're working on, since I didn't hear from you yesterday. Okay? Um, please, please, please let me know what your ISU topics are. Let me know what your traits are. Send me a draft of your annotated bibliography if you would like, me to work out the kinks with you. Most importantly, though, is just keep moving forward. Don't let these days slip away. We only have 8 days after today. Okay? That's really, really, really all that we have is 8 school days together. So I want everybody to get the mark that they deserve, the mark that they're absolutely able to get. But in order to do that, you guys need to be independent. Okay? So I will be around on Edsby Messenger anytime you need a hand, and I will post a Google Meet link on the streams of the classrooms just prior to 1:30, and Mr. Burns and I will meet you there, and we'll have a chit chat, and we'll see how life's going. We'll see how the human beings in the class are doing, and then we'll see where it all ends up. Okay. Other than that, thank you for coming to my TED Talk. If you showed up late, the whole stream will be live on the channel at the same link in the very, very near future. It doesn't take too long to process, and you can watch it to your heart's content. Okay, so I will just wait for a couple more minutes just to see if there's any other questions, and otherwise, I'm just in the process of signing off. So off to work with you if you don't have any questions. I don't see any questions, but everybody is still sitting there viewing me sitting here drinking coffee, which is kind of odd. Oh, now people are starting to disconnect. So hopefully you found this a fascinating exercise, Mr. Burns. All right, I'm signing off.